Hey everybody, welcome back. We have another project time going, and of course from our good friends at Death Grip Scales. Now, I purchased these over on their website. If you see something you like and it's not in stock, please send them an email via their website. It is listed in their about info. All I gotta say is, I love these scales. The quality of their products is fantastic. This is for the Benchmade Griptilian. These are a slim scale made out of silver twill carbon fiber. So let's get them busted out. Let's take a peek at them. And it's an updated version. So it's got all the 3D contouring, all the micro milling. You can see right here where the axis lock goes. He left a little bit of material because he's had to slim it out. Now, throughout, it is slim. There's the normal Griptilian has a hump. These do not. He takes the hump out. So this is hump free. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's really hard to tell on the silver twill because of the reflectivity. But there's some micro milling patterns through here. And it just gives you that little bit of extra texture. Nothing super rough where it's going to tear your pocket up under the pocket clip, but just enough that you're going to be able to hold on to it, and it's terrific. So don't worry. I will show the other carbon fiber slim Death Grip scales I have, which are beautiful, by the way. And he's got some new, and I won't say new. He's had the what he calls Explorer style, and it makes it look like an 80s, 90s kind of guitar for the mini grip and the full size. And of course, when I'm making this video, there are some scales in stock. He works on Benchmades right now, so Benchmade 940, Benchmade Bug Out, Benchmade Griptilian. Definitely check it out. Trying to get him to work on some maybe Freak and Mini Freak in the future, but he's getting everything together. So this is a secondary. It's not, he doesn't have a full employee shop full of people. Otherwise, we'd all be having Death Grip scales on all of our knives. So he does include the instructions, a full hardware kit, because we're going to be using the Benchmade Griptilian 550 in S30V. Of course, the beautiful sheep's foot edition that we know and love so much from Benchmade. So let's take it out of the box. We'll take the axis lock information on there. Don't forget about your Life Sharp warranty. Now, that brings up a good question. Maybe you put some beautiful Death Grip scales on your Benchmade Griptilian. What is that going to do for your warranty? Now, you can send them in, but you're going to have to sign a waiver on Benchmade's website and sign it or send it in with your knife for repair, or keep these scales. And if something happens, put these scales back on, send it in for your warranty. Nothing different. You're not doing anything suspicious, but Benchmade just doesn't want to break your scales or something happen to them in shipping, and then they are not going to be liable for them. So the Slim Griptilian, here are the directions. You can, let's see here. Let's open it up. So if you want to pause it, might be able to get them all on camera here. So if you want to pause it, there you go. But basically, we're going to disassemble it. We're going to insert the liner into one side of our new scales. Reuse your original liner screws. Do not tighten it down. Hold one of the spacer inserts in place and thread in the included screws. Use the short screws for the first two spacer positions and the long screws for the last spacer position furthest down from the pivot. So way down here. So it's pretty cool they include this stuff. Place pivot in from the right side when looking at the back of the knife. So like the clip side, you'll insert the pivot on this way because he mills out a little bit of material where the pivots go so they can lay flat in there. And we do have a carbon fiber geared backspacer, which I think is going to look super awesome. Insert the washers in the blade and then push the pivot through. Usually helps to pull back the axis lock, of course. Thread in the pivot screw. Tighten all the screws. Set your pivot to the desired tensions. Blade alignment's off. He talks about all that. Blade is centered. Make sure you install your install your clip, the supplied screws, maybe with the supplied screws. These should be 3 of the longer length screws included. Make sure all 3 screws are started before tightening any of them down. So one thing to note that's important, I'm just going to point out on these instructions, when you get it, definitely read these through. So obviously, right, you got to use short screws for the first 2 spacer positions, which are, you'll see them but it's basically on here. The first two spacer positions are going to be the short screws, and then the long screw will be down here. So let's go ahead and open up the hardware kit in a nice little baggie. So you get the spacers and the screws. And then it sounds like he includes the other install your clip, the supplied screws. So it should be, we should have 3 longer screws as well. And that's why having a little mat like this helps. This is a silicone electronics mat. So it resists heat and stains and all that good stuff. Now I'm going to keep this baggie because I'm going to put the original hardware back into it and put it in the box for safekeeping. So let's put all this off to the side. I have all my tools ready to go. Of course, he has the instructions here as well. All the good stuff, but these are the general ones. That's for the Slim Griptilian specifically. But he does have, and I think it's in stock right now, these titanium scales for a 940 or a bug out. Fantastic with the 3D machining or milling, micro milling, however you want to say it. It is terrific. If you made it this far, give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, give me a shout out and say, Zach, get with the demo. Let's get this going. So first off, we're going to take it apart. Now, of course, we have a couple things. We have our Slick-O-Mall because we're going to clean those washers, clean that blade. We're going to put Slick-O-Mall in there. I do have a link to the Slick-O-Mall down below. Shout out to OCD for DC for making us all slicked up because his Slick-O-Mall is awesome. So T6 screws on the on the full-size Griptilian on this side for the liner, T10 for the pivot, and over here the screws are going to come out. Hopefully come out. These are usually really Loctited in, and this one is super Loctited. So much that it's tearing my bit up again. Here we go. We got the Weehaw bits being tested. We'll see if we snap another one with the old Loctite. And I get like they're trying to like reduce, you know, people losing clip screws and other stuff, but man, a little less Loctite might go a long way. But we'll see, we'll see. So we'll get this in here. We'll get the pocket clip off. I think for now we're going to stick with this pocket clip. There might be some other options around the world here. Did this get misthreaded? I think this one got... Huh. Are we dead in the water right here? Hopefully not. I think we can get everything off. We may just have to use a different clip and different screws. 2 of the screws are coming out. Obviously, you can see how long they are, clip screws for the Griptilian. But the center one, I'm going to take these 2 out real quick, and then I'm going to try the center one. But this is what happens, right? This is the stuff that happens. It's loose, but it's just spinning in there. So I'm guessing we got a bum cross-threaded screw or screw insert in there because it is not moving at all. So they probably tightened it down too much when they inserted it, and that one's dead in the water. So you can see the other 2 came out. This one's loose, but let's try to put a little more pressure on, see if we can at least get it out, see what the problem is. Luckily, hardware's provided. Yeah, it's going tight and loose again, so that's a problem you run into. And really, really careful, just like he says in the directions, especially when you're doing these body screws, because they do the same thing to them. So let's take off the one liner screw on this side, right? Oh, man. All right. Reuse your original liner screw. Do not tighten it down. That's this one. And that's this one. So we need to reuse those. So we're going to put those off to the side. Gosh darn it. These are like super Loctited as well. All right. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to, but you can see the dried Loctite on there. Come on, man. That's not bad. That's not bad. But I've never had a pocket clip do this. So they must have just put it in there with a pneumatic tool and cross-threaded it on the way in. And maybe that's why the other one was so tight, because it was a little cross-threaded too. So luckily, on the Death Grip scales, you can see the dried Loctite there as well. This is right-handed only. If you need left-handed, let him know. He has the clip screw inserts in the scales, the new ones. These are right-handed only. So we got a floppy clip. Maybe it's a new tool. It's a new mobile pry bar. All right, I digress. Okay, so we got our liner screws out. let's get our spacer screws out. This is going off the rails already. But this is the kind of stuff that happens, right? You know, and you could probably see somebody clipping it and being like, look at how long those are. Woo-wee. That's the furthest one, the longest one. Obviously, these scales are going to be a little thinner, so that's why he's getting new hardware for you. So we'll get this one out. This one should be shorter than that last one. Oh, those are going to be the same size too. So maybe on the full-size grip like this, these are all the same size. That makes sense with the handle, but we'll see how it goes. We'll put it back together. I'm sure people are probably fast-forwarding through some of this. But I'm still kind of amazed at this. We'll do some more work on this later. Maybe I'll do it on the next live stream. So we're going to switch over. The only thing we have left besides our stripped-out clip screw is our pivot. So we're going to get our T10, put it in our Tourist bit driver from Journey Tool Co. And this is the one. This is the test. Oh, we got it. We got it. All right. These are Loctited in, liquid Loctite. You can even see Loctite bits falling out right here. Come on now. Come on now, friends. We'll scoop those off to the side. Put them in the garbage real quick. But definitely Loctited up. So, all right. So we should be able to pop these off. There we go. Now you can see the liners, big liners for the full-size Griptilian. I love it. This is awesome. I love this blade shape too, by the way. Got the Spidey hole in it. Been a long time collab with Benchmade, of course, and with Spyderco. So safety first. If you're not comfortable, tape off the blade. We're going to go ahead. We're going to pop this out. I probably should have done it and popped it out with the other scale on, but that's okay. We're going to pop this out. We're going to use our little tool here to kind of keep it all together. So we can see right here a couple things. One, lots of Loctite on the bottom of that. And two, there's some wear marks already there. So we'll see if we can pop it out. We'll transfer it over to the next live stream. I do have another clip, so I will get that out here in a minute. But rest in peace to that one. We may have to, I don't know. Benchmade's not going to take it back in that condition. And I don't want to rebuild it back, you know? And I'm like, oh, man. All right, so we're going to take this apart. We're going to slide this out. I want to see how dirty it is. I want to see how clean we can get this. And I want to put some Slick-O-Mal on it. So you can see a little bit, hopefully right here. You get a little bit of that factory dust and grit and grime just from being in there and assembled. So we'll go ahead and put this right here along with this one. And then we'll put the blade right there. Not too bad, but overall, there's a little bit, you can see a little bit of, you know, blue lube that they use. But let me see here. Hold on. Let's get a paper. We're going to get this cleaned up real quick. We're going to make sure we get this going. Shout out to the long haul watchers on here. Give a shout out if you're still watching this entire thing. But we're going to get some of this junk off the blade. Just so you can see a little bit of debris coming off. You know, nothing terrible, but just a little bit. Not a lot of lube on this one. I think they just kind of put a couple drops in hopes that people will grab their own and move forward with it. So we'll go ahead. Let's get these washers cleaned off. We'll use the other side. These will usually be pretty clean. Yeah, just a little bit of stuff came off. Nothing too crazy. I will use another one, though. We'll redo the screws that we use. Any of the reusable ones. We'll make sure and wipe those off. Get some of that Loctite off there. And once we get it all dialed in and ready to go, then we're solid. So you can see the liners. They got a spacer right here that's kind of pushed in. Keeps them all separated and good and solid. And I think we'll just double this up. We'll run it through here because it's going to get a little Loctite on there as well. Nice and clean. I'll probably take it off and give it some lock stick now because I've just cleaned off the access bar. But let's go ahead. Since we got our T10 on our Tourist, I'm just going to use this little alcohol swab. And I'm just going to spin it forward, spin it back a few times just to try to get some of that Loctite off. And you can see how much comes off of there. So all that stuff's really good to kind of just get off there. In the meantime, and we'll get this wiped off as well. It just makes it smoother. You know, we had one that came from Benchmade, had a smidge of stick to it, and took it apart, cleaned it, put some blue lube in there, working fantastic. So, and that was on that blue bug out. So just one of those things that happens. Get a little piece of grit in there, you're good to go. So basically the reassembly, right? Insert liner into one of your new scales. So here's your liner. We're going to insert it into one of our scales. It fits up right here. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for it to sit recessed in here. Fantastic. It lines up down here. You're good to go. Now, they said use your T6, obviously. You want to put that scale screw in, which, of course, we used the smaller ones, right? They were these. Oh, yeah, we need to get another... we need to clean that off because we're reusing it. Got to follow my own instructions. This is going to be a long one. So, like I said, shout out to the long haul video watchers on the channel. And, of course, we already swapped out that T10, so we'll just use it right here. Oh, no, it is a T6. Okay. Come on, Zach. You're better than that. Now, of course, if I wasn't doing just a regular video on this, I probably would have just taken it apart, had it all assembled. But I will take that stuff back to Benchmade. I should be able to pop it out of there, though. But it's something to note, so I'm going to have to put a little sticky note and put it inside there that clip hole, that center clip hole is stripped out. Just for my own knowledge, so if I go to put this back together and I don't want to fight it and strip it out or ruin it or make it worse if I put it back together for some reason. So let's go ahead, put this short screw back in our liner hole right here. I always do a reverse so I get it, so I catch it on there. Let's do it again. There we go. And it says, do not tighten down. So we got it in there. We backed it out like 3 or 4 turns. So it's in there, it's catching. You can see it come through on this side, just a smidge. That's all you want. We got a little goop-de-goop on there as well. But now on to the next one. So now you got to put your spacer inserts in place. Use the short screws for the first 2. So we'll get short screws. I don't know how short they go. Let's see. Those look like the shortest. Oh, there's even shorter ones. So these are the shortest. I think we'll use these. So there should be at least 2 of those, which there are. And I think he gives you like 1 extra of them. So really happy with the hardware that has been included in all of my purchases in the past. So let's see. We'll pull it up on here. And we're just going to hold it in place, and you can see it pop in there. So we'll put this one in right here. Just drop it in. Same thing. I like to go backwards so it kind of locks into the threads. And you just have to tighten it a little bit, right? We're not going too crazy. Long screws for the very last one here, but this is for the 2 short ones. And then you can see how the spacer holds in there. And then this is actually going to drop on top of it, right? It's actually going to go this way. It's going to drop right through those spacer holes. It's going to look sick. So, I know I'm getting too far ahead of myself. All right, continuing on. Let's go to the next spacer here. It's like, Zach, this is the longest build ever. Well, I appreciate those of you who are watching the whole thing. It's going to be pretty awesome. We'll look at the other Griptilians, just a couple of them that I have that are similar. I really like the slim versions. I'm excited. He said he's redoing the slim version for the mini grip. So I'm excited to do that one. I think I need to pull the trigger on the bug out ones. Well, because I have a bunch of 940 ones, but I only have like a couple sets of titanium scales for the bug out. And he makes a really, really awesome titanium with the micro milling. And so this one's not going to show super well, the micro milling, and that's okay. But when you feel it, you feel that little bit of texture there, and it's so solid. I mean, you can hear this. The plastic grivery, like, they're solid, It's an awesome workhorse of a knife, but this just levels it up. Now, these did cost me $145 shipped, and some of the other ones are cheaper. Some of them are a little bit more expensive, obviously, the titanium. But overall, definitely worth it. Now, he said the long one, which let me double check, make sure these are all the same length, which it looks like they are. I just want to make sure there's no crazy long ones. And there's some more short ones. So he almost gives you double the hardware, which is actually kind of cool, because if you lose something, I know, shout out to Bees Blades. He's lost a screw before, and he had to call in his canine unit to find it for him. So I don't want to have to do a canine retrieval on screws. So that's another good thing about having a good work mat when you're taking something apart, or working off of like a microfiber cloth or something. I'll do it this way so you can see it. There we go. So now all of these are in place. These are all your kind of barrel spacers. I've tightened those down, right? That's good. So that's what it is. It says do not tighten down. Hold on. And the long screws for the last position and farthest down from the pivot, do not tighten down. Okay. So it says don't tighten down, but maybe we'll do that. I'll leave them a smidge loose. I don't know. You guys are probably just like me. You guys and gals, you're like, I just throw this stuff together, right? Make it happen. Okay, so let's see. Let's get these in here. Is that the right way? Looks like it. Why are we not popping in there? Maybe that's why they're like, Zach, don't leave it, or don't tighten it down, Zach. That's probably why. Slide the spacer onto the spacer inserts, then install a second scale liner screw, and spacer screws do not tighten any screws yet. Place the pivot in from the right side, insert the washers, all that good stuff. Okay, so maybe that's one of the things we're having a problem with is you got to loosen this up a little so it'll move a little bit. Or maybe it's a liner thing. Okay, it was a liner thing. That's what it was. So you can see how snug he has it cut out. Terrific. Now I'm going to tighten this up a smidge, just because it was about ready to fall out. So I haven't tightened them, but just a little bit. But you can see already how that's going to look. It's awesome. So now, next step, of course, is going to be to put the other scale on. Now, the reason he's saying don't tighten is because you're going to need a little spacing. Look at how awesome this is. This is awesome when you put this back together. So let's put our liner screw in, because we know we're going to need this one. We're not going to tighten it all the way, but we pre-cleaned it, so that's good. I am going to back it out, just like he instructed. He's probably going to watch this and be like, Zach, man, you got to make sure to follow the rules with him. Normally, you could use one of these. You could use the Flytanium tool. OCD for EDC has a really good axis lock little toolkit that even holds the crossbar lock back when you're installing this stuff. So definitely check that out with the Slick'em link. But I chose this one. It's actually the closest one I could find when I was getting this video ready. So we're going to put a little Slick'em in here underneath this washer, just a little ring of it. As you know, that's all we need, right? Just a little dab will do ya. I like to do a little whirly whirl, a little, hey, how are ya? Right there. You can see my tubes dwindling down, so I got the new one on backup. He's got the metal needle applicator on that one, so I'm stoked to start using that one. So we'll go ahead and get this washer. We'll just drop it right on there. You can move it into place. And with the Slick'em, it definitely stays in position. You don't have to worry too much about it until you're ready to insert it. Now we'll do it on the other side real quick. Just a little ring of Slick'em. And as you've seen, this Slick'em doesn't dry out like a lot of others. And so for these types of applications, when you're taking it apart, cleaning it, putting it back together, Slick'em is the best when you're running washers. Some of the bearings ones work really good with them. Overall, it's a 10. So he talked about doing the pivot from the right side, but we're going to insert this so we can get the pivot in. You obviously got to pull back on that crossbar lock. Having everything loose, you can slide these right in here. You can see a little tiny gap in there, and we're going to use it from this side, right? We're going to use it from this side. Actually, no. When you're looking at the back, pivot on the right, so we're going to use it from this side. Good thing I double checked. And the nice part is these guide in, and then it's got a flat spot. So when you're ready, it'll all lock in. But you can see it's ready to go. It puts everything in play. Look at that. It's going to be a sweet looking knife. A lot of clip options, So we will use some of these longer ones for the new clip. Obviously, they're not going to be as long as the other one because these scales are not as wide, as thick. And we'll do a comparison as well. I think I have another Griptilian here nearby. We'll do a comparison on thickness. All right, so we're going to take the female side of the pivot, and it does have a flat piece right here. The rest is round. And so when you pull this back, you pull it out, the flat side is on this bottom portion towards the spine of the knife when it's closed. So we're going to want to rotate this in this configuration. Get this all set. To me, it's like putting it in upside down, but all right. We're going to do this one more time because we want to use that flat portion of your guide. Oops, I used the small side. There's a big side. It's a nice part about this one is two-sided. Flip it over. So there's a flat side right here. You can line it up directly with that. And then pull your crossbar lock back. And we should be close. There we go. We got most of it in. You can see it right there. We'll just do a little bit of tweaking with this because we want to make sure to get it pushed through all the way. There we go. Now we're flat and smooth. He makes it all milled out on this side so it is flush. You don't have anything sticking out. That's how we love it. Look at that. With the black hardware, looks terrific. So let's go ahead and put this on. We don't need to use the bit driver, I don't think. I think we can just put this in. Now I do have some Loctite paste that I will use after I get this dialed in. And I'm just gonna tighten this down all the way. Centering's a smidge off, but when we put this back together, we'll get it all dialed in. But look at it. It's a beauty. Look at that upgrade. This is a super long video, but those of you who are here for the party, thank you for being here. So we'll go ahead. There are a couple tricks to do to get this straightened up. So this is my thing. And that's why, and I know like you got to have some of this stuff loose when you're putting it together, but when you put it together, we haven't put in the screws on this side yet. So that's why we got to go ahead, put the long one over here, and that's going to help us like tighten this all up and get it together. I just want to get that pivot in there, so hopefully we can get it dialed in. And obviously that's going to help probably get everything straightened up, and the short ones go on these two front ones. But overall, we're going to have to center the blade, and there are a couple tricks for that. Folding some paper up as a gap, but for me, that's why I like taking it apart and swapping the scales using the tools. But overall, you may have to do one or the other. Now, here's the reason why you don't want to tighten it up. So I tighten this side up too much. This side sticks out a little bit. So we're going to have to loosen this side up a little bit so we can tighten this one up. So they have the same gapping so they disappear, right? That's your goal. You want that to just sink beneath the scale a little bit. It's just that happy balance, right? That happy balance you got to get figured out. There we go. Are we close? We are very close. All right. Now on these, we're solid. So we'll tighten these up just a smidge. Good to go. And then we'll tighten these up a smidge. All right. Now this one does stick out a little bit right here. So let's make sure we use the right screw. I think we did, because the other side's moving a little bit. So that's the problem that you run into is with the spacers, like they'll spin on each other. So I want to try to get this one sunk in a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then we'll tighten this one up. Tighten this one up again. And then that way you can tighten them on themselves. So you may have to use two like T6s to get it right, but you should be able to run your finger across and you won't have any hardware sticking up, because he makes it so they'll all sink beneath, except for these liner screws. They will stick out just a smidge because he slimmed them all out. He slimmed it out. So let's do a quick comparison. We have our 3 screws left here, which are going to be for the pocket clips. So I guess there are no extra hardware. So my apologies for misleading you on that. So I think that looks super incredible. Let me know what you think. Let's go ahead. Let us look at a regular Griptilian, and let's look at how thick this is in comparison. So there's your standard Grivery. This is just one of the woodland camo ones they did a long time ago. But you can see how much thickness they took out of it at Death Grips. And you can see a little bit of material they left here. But man, that upgrade is just terrific. Carbon fiber backspacer, silver twill carbon fiber. Now I do have to go and access my toolkit, so give me a second. But we want to see a different clip on there, right? But we will go ahead and put this one out here because that's going to be the other carbon fiber one. You can see a little more of the micro milling on this one and the slimness that he cuts down, and has to leave a little material for that. This has the standard barrel spacers on this one, but I like that carbon fiber backspacer. He did it with the mini as well. We've seen the mini. Oof. The mini one is awesome. I can't wait till he does a slim version of this. You can see a little belly here, but man. All right, so let's get a pocket clip. Let's put want to put a deep carry on there? No, let's put a traditional for right now until we sort out the other stuff. So we'll put a traditional on there. Thank you for bearing with me on that one. Obviously, the show side is super clean looking. Our centering is a smidge off, so I'll adjust that pivot when we're done. But basically what you'll do is you'll loosen your pivot up. You can basically put in some folded up paper to align this. And then we're going to take apart, or not take apart, but loosen some of these screws. We're going to loosen the pivot, tighten it back up so it's center, and tighten all of our hardware up. That's the one thing that you have to do when you're doing these swap outs. Makes it a little bit different, but it's how you do it. It's a blade centering thing. It's not super crazy off. If you look, it might even be the grind. Let me look. It's super close, but it's a smidge off to the clip side, so that's okay. So we'll go ahead and put these screws in, which is awesome. He includes that, so sorry about the information about the extra hardware. I know I'll probably get some comments, people being like, hey, mine didn't come with extra hardware, but either way, he includes everything you need for it. So we'll go ahead, we'll tighten this up. And like I said, I will go back through and Loctite all of these once I get it centered to my liking. And of course, you want to make sure not to strip your screws out, but there's lots of aftermarket clip options from many different aftermarket companies. So we'll tighten this up because we're going to use it a little bit. We'll make sure it's good to go. Now let's work on the pivot just a smidge because we want to get that drop shutty action that we love. And it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. We get that slick 'em all in there. That slick 'em all already drop shutty. Look at that. Woo! All right, so it's a long video. Here's a comparison with, of course, the same version in carbon fiber that I have. They're just beautiful overall. They are very, very the exact similar scale designs. He did a couple tweakings on this new slim version, but they're not noticeable to the naked eye. To the naked eye. But you can see some of them. They're great. I do like the carbon fiber backspacer. Let me know. Do you like the backspacer edition, the geared, which it doesn't stick up above the scales, which is perfect? Or do you like the barrel spacer where it's a little more open? But for me, this was a really cool thing. I was waiting on for a long time. I really dig it. Not sure what we're going to do about this, but we'll work on it on the live stream a little bit and go from there. Anyways, thank you for checking out this video. If you stayed till the end, make sure to give me a shout out and let me know that you're a member of the Long Watch video crew. I really appreciate it. Either way, make sure to do something kind for someone. Hashtag DSKFS. Have an awesome rest of your day. But most importantly, take care.